Good evening, guys. This is the Crypto Jarhead coming at you with a nighttime video. So, if you haven't heard already, proof of weak math is dead. I was able to get out of that at a little better than even, not by a whole lot. I had a couple of crazy return days. When you factor in referrals, like I had 2 days that were like 30+% return days. Then I had a couple days that were in the 15 to 20% days. So I was able to get out of that at a small profit, not by a whole lot. And what I ended up doing is I got into 3 different clones, and all I was doing with those clones, I didn't make any videos. I wasn't going to try and drop links or anything like that, because I was just trying to pump and dump those. And I did have some success. So I started with sorry. I started with about 0.2 Ethereums when I started doing the pump and dump stuff in the clones, and I ended up with just shy of half of an Ethereum. It was like 489 something. So pretty close to half of an Ethereum. In the meanwhile, I heard about this from the developer before it came out. I've been tracking this since Friday, but it just came out today. And this one's a little different from the rest of the games. It's not a straight clone. He redid the formula a little bit. It has been verified. So it is a smart contract. But here's the difference. There's no token. There's 0 token, so there's no price. So you're not going to get any appreciation on the price. However, the flip side of that coin is that whales can't do what whales do, and buy in with a lot of ether really cheap. People see that, people get excited, they start buying in, and then once that guy hits his target price, he just dumps everything, and he makes like 3 or 4 Ethereum just because he had 15 or 20 or whatever it was to dump in at the beginning, which ends up people see that, people panic sell, and if you're like me, maybe you're at work and you can't be sitting here checking it every 20 minutes, and suddenly you turn around and in your tokens that were worth half an Ethereum in the morning are now worth 0.1, So I like this because it's a lot more stable, which is the whole point, is stable, stable coin. The way it's a 33 hit when you deposit, a 33 hit or a 33% hit when you withdraw. Pretty simple, but there is no appreciation on your price. Now, one important thing to note is I am still in weak hands. I did not sell my weak hands whatsoever. And that is actually, it's not doing too well, to be honest. If you look at, if I could zoom it in, I'm looking at this number up here. So they were almost at 20,000 Ethereum 4 or 5 days ago. And now they're at 11,173 Ethereum in the contract. Now the actual token price is still relatively good. I think that they're currently only about 10% less than their all-time high, which their all-time high was about 0.02. So they're not that far off from their all-time high. They're just missing a lot for the token price, but they're missing a lot of Ethereum. People are buying in, people are selling off. I think that all these clones popping up really did hurt weak hands from the people that sold weak hands to get into these clones and then trying to buy back into weak hands, which I didn't do anything like that. I just took my dividends from weak hands and got into some clones with those dividends. So Right now I've got, let's see, 52 or 50. I did sell 2.5 of my weak hands because I realized I was going to need to keep a little bit of cash in my MetaMax wallet to pay for, for gas prices when I'm doing my reinvestments and withdrawals and stuff. So I did hold about $15 worth in my MetaMax. Went ahead and sold 2.5 just to drop me back down to an almost even 50. I do have 0.018 more than 50, but pretty darn close for me. And if I sold that, I would get 0.65 Ethereums, and then I have another almost 0.3 in the stable coins. So I'm pretty close to a whole Ethereum, which I definitely didn't start with a whole Ethereum. The reason I started in this was because my Finecoin, I forgot to turn my 2FA back on for Finecoin. I was messing around with it and got distracted and forgot to turn it back on, and as a result got hacked. So what I could salvage from Finecoin is what I initially threw in here, and I think I started with 0.17 Ethereum, and that in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, has grown up to just shy of 1 Ethereum. So that's pretty darn good. I like these games, but to be honest, I'm coming on to a pretty hectic work week, and I do want to try and get my house completely set up, which I'm almost there. But now I'm getting into the, I want to build a bookcase for the living room, and I want to build another one for the kids' room so I can put up all of their nighttime books and stuff like that. And I'm almost done unpacking. I think I've got 1 box left. So my point being, I'm not going to have time this week or next week, maybe not next week, to sit here and watch these games. And if you're playing these games, the proof of games, the pyramid games, whatever you want to call them, you really do need to be watching, and you have to have a certain plan in mind. Now, what am I going to do with my weak hands? I ain't doing a damn thing with my weak hands. I'm not selling them. The reason why is because the developers of the Proof of Weak Hands, they're actually working on 2 new projects coming up. I did a video on one with all the information I knew about that one, and there's a second one in the works. So what's going to happen with that first one is they're developing a quote-unquote serious coin. They're going to try and involve more than just the extremely niche DApp game community, which is, those are the only people in weak hands, are the very, very small amount. I mean, we're talking less than 10,000 people across the world in this stuff. That's nothing, So they're trying to bring in the rest of the crypto world, bring a coin that's going to appeal to the rest of the crypto world. I do not have a whole lot of information more than that. But what they're going to be doing is they're going to airdrop, they're going to mirror drop, actually, tokens for the new coin for current P3D holders. So sometime over the next week, they're going to be taking 2 snapshots of your P3D balance. I'm not sure if they're going to, they see that you're growing, they're going to assume a growth table for you and airdrop that many tokens, or if they're simply going to average them, so say you've got 100 on the first one and then 150 on the second one, then they would airdrop you 125. That's pure speculation. I don't know how they're going to do that. They might just pick one of the snapshots of your balance and just airdrop you that. I don't know. But the point being, they're trying to develop a serious coin, and that is due out here sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That they're going to be launching it, or announcing it. And then the other project, I actually don't really have any details on that project because they're being a little tight-lipped about it. The only thing that I know about that second project is that P3D holders are going to have a serious advantage. So what that means, I don't know. Maybe they're going to have like a pre-ICO that's only available to people with P3D in their account. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what that means, what that serious advantage means. But the point being, I'm not selling my P3Ds. At this point, I am almost back just on my dividend returns from P3D. I'm almost at 150% profit. That's not taking into account the valuation of the token. If I took that into account, I mean, I really like weekends. I can't say enough good things about it. So I'm staying in weekends because A, I really like it. B, the developers that came out with the best, in my opinion, DApp game, they're coming out with 2 new projects in the near future. And I want to see what those are going to be, and there's going to be serious advantages to still being in P3D when those come out. Obviously the first one being free tokens or free coins, and the second one an undetermined advantage. But either way, I want to see what that's going to be, and then that way if I choose to take part in that second project, I will have that advantage. But if you remember a couple weeks ago, I made a video when I first was getting into this, and I said that I was just looking for a way to grow my Ethereum over time. That is stablecoin. The fact that whales can't dump, they can't price manipulate, there's nothing for them to gain from doing that. And more importantly, there's something for you to lose when they do. Because there's no token to have a value, So for example, I've got 0.28 Ethereums in there after my 33% hit, which you can do the math yourself on that. You see, I'm not lying about how much money or how much Ethereum I made in weak hands and weak math and all that stuff. I made a pretty decent amount of Ethereum, especially considering I started with 0.17, which is all I could salvage from Fine. So anyway, this just opened up a few hours ago. I personally got into it, I think, an hour and a half ago, and I'm already almost at a 10% return. It might have been 2 hours ago. I'm not sure. I've been watching it for a while, but it opened up, and then I remembered, like, oh yeah, that thing was supposed to open. Let me check that out. And went ahead and saw that it was actually open and put my Ethereum in there. My plan for this is really quite simple. I'm just going to be hitting this button, and I'm just going to be growing this investment. Doing that will get me more and more and larger returns. So it is kind of like a hype like that. But my reason for being this is just, to me, it looks like a good spot to just park my Ethereum without just simply parking it in my Exodus, where it's doing absolutely nothing. Now, as a whole, I've been doing a lot of research and watching a lot of videos and reading a lot of articles, and everyone agrees, for the most part. Of course, there's always the naysayers and the scam shouters and all that, but for the most part, a lot of people agree that crypto is about to enter a bull market. Some people are pointing to the last 24 hours and saying it's already started. I'll hold my breath and reserve that judgment. We'll see. But what I do know is that Ethereum's around $400 right now. There was a point in time, not that long ago, like January, where Ethereum was $1,300. You know, I do firmly believe that Ethereum will hit that price again and go way past that. You know, so really all I want to do now is grow my Ethereum. And the main way I'm planning on making money is from the valuation on Ethereum, you know. And proof of stablecoins here looks like a really good way to just passively kind of grow your Ethereum, you know. So obviously if you are on baby baller status like me, you're not going to be able to dump 10 in here and be seeing, you know, half an Ethereum or an Ethereum per day or whatever it turns out to be. But it's not too bad, you know. And this is pretty good growth for this thing being. See, I think it opened at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, and it is now 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. I don't know, but either way, you know, it opened this afternoon. It's already got 124 Ethereum in it. It wasn't pre-mined, nothing like that. You know, it's just people are seeing that this is a good spot to just park it. You know, and this is, to me, this seems like the best place to put my Ethereum into. Now, it's important to note, there is no link. There is no master node. There's no referral. Nothing like that. So really, I've got nothing to gain from pointing this out to you guys, besides me just, you know, like, I think this makes sense for me to put my Ethereum into right now. And if you agree, I will be dropping the website. You know, I'll copy and paste the website to make it easier for you. Oh, if it'll let me. Okay. So it's copied. I will be putting that link in the description. I'll also be putting my weak hands link in the description if you still want to get into that. If you still haven't, you know, or if you just want to go ahead and put my masternode into your cookie for when you're reinvesting your weak hands, that's cool with me too. So you can come down here and you can see the actual code. You can pull up the contract, look at the code for yourself. It does have a description, you know, what they see as the issue with the pyramid games and what they did with it. Okay, so basically it you know, takes away that sudden crash. You know, and they did build this to be passive income, and they do have their formulas. You know, if you're a math nerd like me, you can go look at all the formulas, you know, and it all makes sense mathematically. So I like this a lot. You know, it's you're not gonna drop one Ethereum in here and pull 5 out, you know, 6 hours later because the token price has shot up 5 times. You know, it's nothing like that. But it is, to me, it seems like a good, stable way to passively grow my Ethereum, which is what I'm looking for right now. So I think I'm repeating myself a little bit too much, and it is definitely my bedtime. But I hope you guys were, I hope you guys did good in the games. I'm largely out of them. Like I said, I'll stay in weekends because I like weekends. So I'm staying in it. I'm not doing any, you know, I'm not getting out of that anytime soon. You know, let me turn on my Wi-Fi so that this video doesn't take, you know, an hour and a half to upload. But so yeah, that's what I'm in now, and that's what I'll be doing. If I've got some time and there's some news, why did that pop up? I'm already have Cyber Ghost on. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, damn it, just derailed my train of thought there. So if there's news and announcements, especially concerning those 2 new projects that are happening from the P3D developers. I'll go ahead and make a little video on that. For the most part, though, I'm largely out of these games. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have a great night, and happy hunting, wolves.